Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. Welcome back from the extended weekend. It was a very, very long weekend over the Easter period. However, there's some serious business. My mind is going to the, it's even been called mayhem in Owerri, talking about, the attempt to break out prisoners. Well, actually, it seemed like it was a coordinated attack on the correctional facility in Owerri, as well as the Imo State Police Command. So here we are, where the president has ordered that all security agencies and police, in short, everything we've got, needs to be thrown at this particular issue, and that they must be apprehended and be brought to book. As you know by now, 1,844 inmates were released in that, as the police would put it, dastardly operation. 6 have voluntarily returned, and 35 declined to escape, as we are hearing. Okay, let's just take the package again to sort of refresh your memories before we, come into the story.
In less than 2 months, 5 divisional police headquarters have been attacked at various locations in Imo State by gunmen which no one has identified with. The latest attack threw open the prison gate and freed inmates. The headquarters of the State Police Command, which was nearby, suffered a similar fate. 38 vehicles were set ablaze. Even these police vehicles in front of the government house were not spared. Describing the incident as callous and barbaric, the state government said detailed investigation will be carried out and perpetrators brought to justice.
I've already commissioned a detailed investigation into this incident with a view to finding out the perpetrators and the masterminds. As at the last count, what I know is the total 1,800 and something inmates in the facility. Some of them were released. Most of them are coming back. I'm sure the authorities are still working to take a complete enumeration of those people that came back, those people that were rearrested, and then those people that escaped.
The government is collaborating with security agencies to bring the activities of the miscreants under control.
The activities of these hoodlums is coming on the increase, and the government will rise to the occasion. Security agencies will provide the appropriate synergy and will also rise to the occasion and ensure that this thing is brought to an end.
Citizens of the state who ordinarily would have things to say prefer silence while trying to understand the speed at which security is deteriorating. The situation in Imo State may not be wide apart from other states in the southeastern part of the country. In Ebonyi, clashes have left communities sacked and dozens killed. Just last week, police officers attached to the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria were killed in Professor Soludo's home country. Enugu State has reports of herdsmen infiltrations, which usually come with tears and blood. Restoring public confidence in the ability of government to protect them is no longer in words, but must be matched with action. Prince Oba, TVC News, Owerri.
Well, so that's the report, and actually we're hoping to speak with, we will have 2 guests online, remotely. Professor Samuel Eze-Anyika, Political and Social Economy of Imo State University, and in due course we'll also be speaking with Honorable Innocent Egwim, Chief Whip of the Imo State House of Assembly. But I believe we have Professor Samuel Eze-Anyika right now. Good morning, Professor.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you very much for making time for us. The very shocking news that we got, tell me how, given you are there, how are you receiving this? It's no doubt a shock. 1,800 prisoners released. The whole place would appear to almost be in shambles. But could you give us an overview of the situation now, like the day after?
Well, the situation is calm, apart from the major roadblock on Okigwe Road. The situation is okay. Just that it was a surprising event, one which one had expected as security agency we nip at the bug by ensuring that such a calamity did not occur. Attacking the prisons where you have prisoners, you have criminals of all kinds, you have kidnappers, and attacking the department in the police
Exactly.
headquarters is rather worrisome. Worrisome in the sense that if the agencies that are responsible to ensure that we have security are not secured, then we are all in grave danger. And the situation, however, is stabilizing, as I said earlier. But the fact that this kind of thing could happen and happen so openly is worrisome.
Indeed. Well, they did come in the wee hours, according to news reports, around 2:15 in the morning, that kind of a thing. I don't know if it's fair to talk about intelligence, that perhaps intelligence might have given us something of a leg up, or because it seems like totally unexpected.
Yes, it is. That is again a very worrisome point because the operational area of this crime is within the vicinity of the seat of government, and the seat of government is within the same vicinity with the police headquarters. So you can imagine that all the security agencies must be active and proactive around this immediate perimeter. If that perimeter is not secured, then you begin to have a very major question mark for the rest of us in the state. If within the capital territory, at the very heart of Owerri, where government has, Douglas House is situated, and where the police headquarters is situated, if such a thing could happen there, then begin to ask yourself, what will happen to the people in the outskirts of the city? If agents of unscrupulous people decide to act or take action in the peripheral areas of Owerri, you can imagine that they can operate for a very long time before they can have any presence of police or security presence. And if in such places they are allowed to operate, if the small police station, the police headquarters, not the main headquarters, no, the divisional headquarters, will become helpless in a situation where headquarters could be attacked. The central communication nucleus, or the nexus of communication in terms of police intelligence from all the divisional headquarters is at the headquarters of the police. And if it fails so totally in preempting such a situation, then the lives of the citizenry is in danger.
And even as worrying, if not more worrying, is the fact that there doesn't seem to be a clue as to either the identity or the motive of those who struck, even as the president has ordered that no stone be left unturned in apprehending all that were responsible, all of those responsible, and prosecuting them. I suppose we have to let the experts do their job, but are there sort of any suspicions as to who might have been behind this and what the motive might have been?
Well, the security situation in the past 2-3 weeks will have necessitated an intensified security network and the exchange of intelligence among the intelligence authorities or agencies within the state. For instance, there were certain persons who were in detention, and there were some persons awaiting trial. These persons had high profile and sensitive portfolios within the organizations within the state that are involved in one form of trouble or the other. So I believe that the security agencies should have been on high alert, aware of the fact that they had in custody certain elements who could attract the sympathy of their members to try to rescue them. I am a little bit worried that this option was not explored, that the agencies, security agencies should have had that as an option and intensify on that note the security network within the precincts of Government House, Douglas House, and the headquarters of police. Like, let me say it again, it is traumatizing and it increases the sense of insecurity in most of us, the citizens, if the police could be struck by surprise, and not just any section of the police, but a section that is in charge in a very high degree with intelligence. Is worrisome.
Now, the Inspector General has, as is often the case in these kind of instances, has called on members of the public because we do know around the world big cases are often broken by the citizens, offering tips, assistance to the police. What are your thoughts about how, forthcoming the people might be? Because this kind of a thing could not happen in an island. There would have been people who know. Is the atmosphere, so to speak, the security atmosphere, so to speak, that which could allow the citizenry to perform their, normal duties of assisting law and order where possible?
Well, this is an open society, and people have various and different and diversified opinions and views. It is true that to crack major cases, you need the participation, active and dynamic participation of the populace. And particularly the populace represent a group of people that can provide the necessary link intelligence information that will enable the security agencies to be able to track and arrest persons directly or indirectly connected with the events that occurred in Owerri in the past 2 days. So it is in the right direction that the head of security or the Inspector General of Police is asking for the cooperation and collaboration of the people.
Yes.
Having said that, we also have to begin to wonder, like you are wondering, we are all wondering, who were the ones responsible? What degree of sympathy do they have? Because you see, there is no way this kind of operation could have been contracted in less than 2 weeks. It was something planned. It was something programmed properly and delivered efficiently, which means there may likely have been meetings, series of meeting movements, abnormal meetings, etc. And the security didn't pick it. People will have picked it because they didn't organize this meeting in the sky, and those who are involved are not spirit. They are human beings. They have people they talk to, they drink, they hang around in bars, etc. No matter how tight their network is, this information must have been to a certain degree in the public domain. Now the question is, were those who were aware desirous of informing the generality of the public or the security agencies that this kind of problem was being muted? Possibly they didn't do that. If they did that, where this information could have been revealed. Can the information be tracked now that it has been the action has taken place? The answer in my part is yes. If the security agencies put together their machinery of action, and I tell you this, I have faith in the Nigerian agencies. If they want to dig a problem, dig an issue, they have the capacity to intensify their efforts, use their contact, and get the result, the desired result that will get it. If the various agencies cooperate and collaborate in the exchange and sharing of intelligence information, this information will be found.
Right, Prof. And, the situation is so confusing, actually. And clearly the police and the correctional department, everybody was taken by surprise on this. Suspicion has sort of turned in the direction of the Eastern Security Network and IPOB, but that has promptly been denied by IPOB, that it had nothing whatsoever to do with this. So I guess investigations will have to continue in a professional and forensic manner so that we can get to the bottom of this. As the Inspector General of Police has said, and as is reported, he was considering this as an attack on the soul of the nation. Never mind that it happened in Owerri and in Imo, that he considers it an attack on the nation. IPOP has denied anything to do with all of this whatsoever.
Well, it is it's a joke to expect that iPod will come up in public and acknowledge that it is such a carried out such a dastardly attack. The repercussions are tremendous. Quite a number of the members are known, just like one of such members. I understand that the man in charge of security in the organization was in detention. If that information is true, my argument is that the police should have, having such a person in custody, intensified security within the precinct of their office. Having said that, it is not a time to point fingers, accusing fingers. It is a time to deal with the information available, the intelligence available, to share it, to process the information, to digest it, and bring it to a point where people can be identified in relationship with relevant information available to the security agency.
Yeah.
No speculation should be encouraged at this point, even at a later point, so that innocent persons or targeted persons, the people who are construed undesirable, be punished without justified reason. The security agencies should use their resources, both within the populace and between the agencies, to be able to collect, process, and obtain information that would enable them to do their job. And as I said before, the agencies in this country have that capacity if they are desirous to achieve those set up goals.
Indeed. One moment, Prof, while I take a call from Kesandu, calling in from Owerri. Good morning, sir.
I greet you, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for calling in.
I am calling you from Owerri as we speak. You see, it is so disheartening, unfortunate of what has befallen Imo State. A very peaceful state, a very peaceful city that people do come and have fun and go home. It is quite disheartening what we have seen. But you see, Prof, I agree in everything Prof said, but the issue of, let's not point out accusing fingers, someone has to take blame. You see, if the police and the prison, the correctional service can be attacked or could be attacked, that means the ordinary citizen, Kesandu, is not safe anymore. All I'm saying is that we have pleaded with the governor of the state, like the Yorubas have done. Let us have a state security outfit. If the Southeastern governors cannot come together to give us a regional security outfit, let us have that. We once had it during the time of former Governor Okorocha, although we were not comfortable with some of his policies. But as it stands now, security is very pertinent. Imagine these people. Okay, if they were coming from, let's say, Umuahia, they will pass my own local government in Itoboma. Somebody would have actually put a call across to the state and tell them that, okay, we're seeing vehicles, motorcycles, people are actually coming. We don't even know who they are. Those people will be ready. The 35th Rally Brigade OBs of the army should have also been ready. But unfortunately, we had no security outfit to check all this. These people came, comfortably did their thing, burnt everywhere, and went home. Now we have almost 1,000 and something inmates outside, hardened criminals. What is the state of the people? All we are saying is that now it has happened. Government has to be proactive. Please rise up. Let us have this security outfit so that we can actually get information around. So if we see people that we are not comfortable with within our locality, we can actually call up and say, this is happening. We need a security outfit in Imo. Somebody should please, we are begging the governor of Imo State, Senator Opus Odema, he should rise up to this responsibility. Let us be proactive so this thing will not happen again. Okay. This thing has a serious adverse effect on the economy of our state. And it is not a good news. Imo is now in the news for the wrong reason. We are not happy. We are afraid. But God will surely deliver us. God bless you, Mosty. Thank you, Uncle Yeri.
Indeed. Thank you very much, sir, for calling in as well. Governor Hope Uzodinma was there. We saw him on our report. And he also is putting his faith in the authorities, which Prof has already told us, Professor Samuel Eze-Anyika, that, look, he knows the capacity exists within our security operatives, our agencies, if indeed they want to achieve results. And I think this is one case where I don't see why they wouldn't want to achieve results. In addition to the express order of the president to just wrap this matter up as promptly as possible. Mr. Yakub, good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And then good morning to the Prof.
Yes.
Chivyari, If this kind of a thing can happen to police headquarters, as the last caller has rightly said, what is going to happen to ordinary citizens of Imo State? Another observation I have here is this. I think this is our time. Our legislature needs to make this law in time to allow state policing. Because if you're let's ask ourselves a question: how many police personnel we have in the whole country? They cannot even police us. And then that is to telling you the kind of intelligence we have. Our intelligence gathering, it is not where to be found. Because as Professor Rasley says here, this kind of attack, it is a planned work, and then it is not yet a planned work. It has been planned ahead, maybe more months ago, 2 months ago. How come that the citizen of that state does not know this? How come the police, the DSS does not know this is going to happen? Because it is very good to call before it happens. Okay, now, they release almost 1,000 inmates. That is
almost 2,000. Almost 2,000 inmates.
Imagine, 2,000 indeed. They release almost 2,000, or more than 2,000. So, the question is this. It's not going to affect only Imo State. The neighboring state, even including Southwest, as case maybe, because all this kind of the inmates, they will fly. They will leave Imo State. Some of them will go to other states and commit a crime again. You get it? And then the lastly, quickly, if by prevention, if these people are being caught back, some of them got arrested back, or some people that carried out this attack was apprehended, when they charge them to court, between me and you, where is going to end? How do you go to know it's going to end? The court system is also going to deal with them, and then Nigeria will be waiting till eternity, 2 years, 3 years. We will not hear anything about it. So people carry this kind of a deadly attack on the police headquarters, and then when they finally get arrested, we will not know how they're prosecuting them. That is why giving other people leisure to do those things. So, Chief Jari, God Almighty is going to help us. Good morning and God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yakub, for calling in. Prof, Professor, are you still with us?
Sure.
Okay. I mean, when you look at the brazenness of this attack, you've already said, and indeed some of our viewers are also observing the same thing, that this clearly was a planned operation. Reports say they came with the utmost in sophistication of weaponry. And it was so brazen. The point comes forth again that if this could be done, if you could attack the police and the correctional facility in this way, we have our work cut out for us. It means that we're not safe. And if this is not handled well, God forbid that this idea might indeed be catching, that in other areas, you know what, we might be able to do the same and get away with it. So it seems to me that this is a very, very important instance that government has to demonstrate, perhaps, that it is entirely on top of before it starts catching on in other parts of the country. Prof?
Yeah, it's true, but let's not make it look as if it was a unique attack. The security units across the country have experienced at various times this kind of attack, and the perceived laxity in reaction is not new to Owerri. It's national. I mean, how do you explain over 100 persons kidnapped from a secondary school and moved for kilometers through the city and checkpoint, and nothing happened? These things, they occur. It depends on the level of integration some of these actors in this kind of scene have with the local population, or if one can accuse that there are lapses within the security apparatus. The security architecture has to begin to answer some pertinent questions. So I'd like to specifically state that while it is a very unwelcome development in Owerri, the heartland of Eastern Nigeria, the situation is not so unique. It's been occurring, but not maybe in the same dimension or in the same level. But the truth of the matter is that this situation needs to be dealt with promptly and precisely. If not, it's going to create a kind of situation that will not be palatable for the greatest majority of the people.
Indeed.
But also consider the fact that the boldness in this kind of attack, this particular attack, is can be associated or linked from similar such very dreaded attacks elsewhere within the country. And we want to believe that adequate actions will be taken, not just exclusively on Imo, but wherever in this country such actions take place.
I want to thank you very much, Professor Samuel Eze-Anyika of Political Science and Social Economy in the Imo State University for making time for us this morning. Thank you very much, Professor.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Indeed, our pleasure. Okay, so we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. We'll continue with this subject with another person in Imo. In fact, the Chief Whip of the Imo State House of Assembly, Honorable Innocent Egwim. So if there are calls from our viewers coming in on this, you can still continue on this theme when we get back. This shocking news that has come out of Imo State, as soon as the Honorable Chief Whip can get whatever it is that he's trying to fix. Honorable Egwim, once more, good morning. No? Aha. Some days are like that. So Monday is going to be like that. We saw Honorable Egwim. We're still trying to get hold of him. I don't know whether we should just go on to the other subject we wanted to talk about. So I think we're going to just do that. And I'm so sorry about that. But Honorable Egwim was so close, yet so far. Now, the other thing we wanted to look at was the NDLEA, which, as you know, is the #1 agency, against drugs, trafficking, selling, anything hard drugs, illicit drugs, especially, illicit drugs. Let me not go to especially anything. That's the function of NDLEA. And the new chairman and chief executive, that is Brigadier General Buba Marwa, retired. Well, he last Thursday, it was a bit shocking. He put out this information that, look, he was happy that an MOU had been signed with a firm, Primley Services Limited, for the supply of free drug kits to NDLEA in Abuja. Now, the other thing about this particular matter is that the chairman has said that practically all Nigerians should be subjected to a drug test, and indeed NDLEA has set the ball rolling. Charity begins at home after all. So there you are. That's the situation there. So we'd like to talk about this. We've heard about people needing psychiatric examination in a totally different context. In Lagos at the time, there was, if the police apprehended you for driving against the traffic, I think a visit to Yaba Left was also in the itinerary of things that you would have to do. But we have Dr. Boyo here with us. Dr. Boyo is our friend. He's a public health expert. Good morning, Dr. Boyo.
Good morning,
and
sir.
Thank you, as always, for coming on.
Yes.
This idea, it's how new is it? Especially the chairman saying that practically every Nigerian, needs to be tested, and they have set the ball rolling in NDLEA because charity begins at home. Now, he said, when he said everybody, he said, we're going to need to be testing politicians, we're going to need to be testing students, in short, everybody. But that's an interesting one. And now you're going to administer tests to the Federal Executive Council, for example, since he said everybody. What would you say to this? It's in the effort of NDLEA to fulfill its mandate, bring down drug taking as much as possible. What do you think of this whole idea, Dr. Abu?
Well, it's novel, and there's nothing wrong in it. The only problem that we face here is that the NDLEA is starting working on a pyramid turned upside down.
Okay.
The first thing to do is to control the production and the transfer or exportation or importation of illicit drugs, and then go after the couriers and the barons and deal with them.
Well, I think they're doing all of that.
They may be doing it, but we can't say they've succeeded. Because over and over again, when you catch people still doing this, and there's still drug money in the system. Now, going to test everybody, as novel as it may sound, the truth is it was well organized. First of all, what's the epidemiology? What's the statistics of number of Nigerians taking hard drugs that will need everybody to be tested?
Yes.
You could have, like you said, drawn up a model where you are going to test every driver, like in the motor parks. And then if you test drivers and you find it in their blood, what's the sanction? What is the sanction? They are independent, they are not being paid by government. Are you going to arrest them and put them in jail because you found marijuana or you found cocaine in their blood? Because they will tell you they never took it, and you're going to have to show evidence that they took it. Then you talk about, for politicians and people taking government offices.
Workers,
yes.
students.
Now, if you want to go to university, if it's included in part of the, before you enter any university, have this pre-admission medical checkup, and they can do that for university students. And university students that are suspected to be in confraternities can be arrested. If they are arrested, they can be tested to find out that they have drugs. And then the university admission policy or university policy and guidelines should have a rule that states that if you are taking, you shouldn't take drugs. If you are found taking drugs, you'll be rusticated or suspended. Then taking of hard drugs becomes something that is already having sanctions within the university environment. The lecturers have to be told, you don't take this, because right now, are there policy guidelines in place that when you're employed in the Federal Civil Service, you must not be on drugs, and you must also define these drugs, because there are many.
Exactly. So hard drugs will need to be carefully defined.
Yes, and carefully defined. And then you don't place a law over somebody. And there are some laws that are unenforceable because you do not have control over the person. You don't come to the transport, a driver of a taxi, and you say, oh, he's on drugs. What are you going to do? And then if you get people that are found positive to have taken drugs, are you having plans to rehabilitate them?
Well, yeah, that's part of the reason NDLEA says it is going about this, because it has to, as it were, save the country.
Oh, yes. If you're going to save the country, we start from there. Put mechanisms in place for rehabilitation. There are so many people in Lagos that don't even need a test. They're already on drugs. The government knows them. They are everywhere. They're in their homes. They're in rehabilitation centers. You mentioned Yaba now. They're there. We don't even have the facilities. How many psychiatrists are in Nigeria? There are less than 300 psychiatrists in this whole country. And you're going to talk about admitting people with drug. The process of rehabilitating somebody and getting the person off drug is so long and arduous beyond even COVID-19. It takes months and years. So if you arrest these people for taking drugs, what are you going to do with them? Drop them in prisons? If you go to prisons, the prisons are the best place to get drugs to buy. The couriers, the people know what happens in prison. So if you're going to arrest them, there will be structures in place to be able to take care of them. You can't arrest somebody for drugs and put the person for life imprisonment. Even if you imprison the person, it's assumed that, the government says no one call prisons. Do you know the new name now? Correctional centers.
Correctional centers.
So you're going to send somebody to the correctional center. Yes. You must have in place the facilities for the correction. So we don't do things in Nigeria like that. Like when they were arresting people for driving one way and sending them to Yaba for the test.
That was a Lagos state policy.
Yes, Lagos state policy. Now, the doctors, how many doctors are in Yaba? How many people drive one if you take everybody that drives one way in a day.
That goes back to the days of Muiz Banire as commissioner in Lagos.
If you arrest people for driving one way, and you take 200 people to Yaba psychiatric hospital, you have already gone beyond the number of people that attend outpatient department there. So you have increased the weight, and then what is in place to rehabilitate? What's the halfway home for them?
Okay, let me take Mazi Okoro on this. Good morning, Mazi.
Good morning, Sayori. Good morning, Dr. Boyo.
Good morning.
Honestly, there is need for this test the NDLEA has suggested. Because if you go to offices, federal, state, name them, the way people behave will tell that there's something wrong. So there is need, I'm just honest to figure it out, because there are people that if they don't take drugs, they cannot do anything in the office. So I'm suggesting to Dr. Bo, if they can consult the NDLEA, Let them do what they call unannounced checking in all the federal establishments, state establishments, even organizations. Just inform the chief executive on phone that you are coming. Just at least 1 month notice to the chief executive, not to make it public, so that you can track all this, because the earlier we do it, the better, because the way people behave, because when you go to the offices, you see the reaction somebody will give you, just a minor, just contact, you just get bored. Say, is there anything wrong between you and that person? That means the person. Now, I want to find out from Dr. Boye.
Yes.
You did know that presently, right now, that the way the people consume these illicit drugs is higher than what we were doing before. When you ask them, so we say that when they take this drug, they don't eat, they don't need food. That the moment they take the drug, they already satisfied in terms of feeding. Is it true? Because go and do it right now. When you leave this studio, go and look for people that have taken drugs. Give them food. Half cup of gari, they cannot finish it. Because the drugs are already this one. Continue their own system. Taking the real food is a problem.
Yeah.
How do we do it? Because it's very, very, it's not healthy. It's not healthy.
All right. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Have a blessed.
Indeed. Good morning, Mazi. Okay, the way Mazi, came in on it, many people in the country, I believe, will think of marijuana as, because that is, quite frankly, as common as you.
But we've gone beyond that. Marijuana is not yet the commonest one. Now we have paraga. We have mixtures of codeine and Coca-Cola, mixtures of all kinds of things. Those are the commonest and the cheapest. And you can get the mixture at 50, 100, and mix them together. And that's what boys use at the motor park and everywhere. And that's what children use in schools. And that's what we should be testing for too. So to test for illicit drugs, it's not just cocaine and Indian hemp. Those are illicit drugs, but you find them more common abroad. But I want to say something about what you said about going to the ministries. If you want to do checkups on people, there's something called in public health fit to work program. When somebody comes back from holiday, comes back from maternity leave, comes back from Christmas, everybody can do fit to work. Okay. Fit to work means you have a general test. Don't criminalize people. In the process of doing a general test on people, you can have capacity to work. You've come back, you've delivered, you've had a cesarean section, you've gone on maternity leave, you've come back to work. Are you fit to work? Okay. They send you to the clinic attached to the ministry, and it is done. This could be included as part of it. If you are employed newly, there's what is called pre-employment medical exam.
Yes.
Then this can be put inside there too. If you are traveling, if you are working with the airlines, with some very, very defined sector military, every 3 months.
These are the ways to go about it.
And the challenge with this is that the newer tests can pick up specimens in your blood 3 months back. Yeah. It's not because you were caught smoking today or you were caught taking it today and it picks it up. There are now more modern tests that can tell you this guy used to smoke. The thing is still in his blood.
Okay. Ibrahim in Kaduna, good morning. I think you're going to be our last caller.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good news to Dr. there.
Yeah, good morning.
In fact, this is the very tremendous call that you brought us this morning as well. You see, many things is happening to we Nigerians. Many. Quite okay. Many of us, many Nigerians have addicted, not only on drugs, even some food that they know that is poisonous and is detriment to their health. They are addicted to it. Some man of God that is somehow energizing us. So the plan by the chairman of NDLEA, he has done it before when he was the governor of Lagos State, where he had it. So if he can bring that action or that plan into existence in Nigeria in general, it is a very wide development to us. You see, offices, marriage, every public gathering, they have this problem. Now, I want us to know, this NDLEA offices, is it only in the state capital? If it's not in state capital, it will not work. But if they can bring it to the Victoria district hall as well, it will a little bit draw people nearer and draw them to the solution as well. Sure. Finally, they should also plan again. What about the psychiatric hospital? Very well. Many people have madness. They say 1 minute time. No. Everybody have 30 minutes madness. That is how I see it. So the psychiatric hospital should also brought to the local government level, not only or some zone. So that is my own advice to the NDLEA and the psychiatric if they really want to help us out. Okay. Thank you very much for helping my call. It's Ibrahim again. Bye.
Okay. All right then. Well, thank you very much, Ibrahim. Interesting. He used words like madness in there, but it's a highly evolved professional field. This whole matter of addiction, and for that matter, insanity or madness and the things and the causes of it and all of that. But I think you've explained, Doctor. that
can I just
by
say
and large, you've shown some of the ways that this could probably work a lot more efficiently than perhaps we know. I would just say we know now, because they're talking about signing an understanding and a memorandum of understanding with a private firm to supply free drug test kits to NDLEA.
Yeah. But have you not wondered why we are doing this when we have not been able to test people for COVID?
Well,
have you not wondered about that?
Yeah.
When we test for COVID, you can't test for hepatitis, you can't test for so many things.
Yeah.
We are going to drugs. It's important to do this, but they should define it to places where you can, one, enforce it. The testing, like in the military, the police, the law enforcement, the border patrol, customs, and even the politicians, like you said, do a drug test on them. Then, remember, if we're going to do drug tests, you must also have the capacity to manage those who are positive. Are you going to sack them because they took
you want to rehabilitate them?
Okay, do you have the capacity to do that? We don't have it.
I think
our president is abroad for treatment, for instance. Then we don't have the capacity to treat the president here. He's somebody who is on drugs. So let's turn the pyramid right side up. Let's make sure that there's facilities everywhere. You can easily walk somewhere in and say, look, I'm on drugs. It's not a crime to be on drugs.
Exactly.
If you want help, be given help. Mental health must be understood.
Well, at the moment in Nigeria, it is a crime. If they catch you.
Yeah, but if you go to the doctor and say, I need help,
no,
I want to come out of this thing.
Yes,
but there's no place to go to.
Yeah.
We can afford it.
We have only NGOs for that kind of thing.
Those NGOs too, how much of advocacy is going on? How many parents can come and say, my son is on drugs, to cover it up. If you take it up, there's stigmatization.
Yeah.
And then managing this case is not bread and butter.
So it's not a simple problem.
It's not a simple problem. So if you want to pick people out for something wrong, have in place structures to manage that thing and to prevent it from occurring. Publicity, advocacy, and let them know that it's not cocaine and Indian hemp alone. There's paraga, there's codeine, all those things, and then withdraw these things, preventive health. Withdraw these things from circulation, make codeine difficult to buy.
There's even cough syrup.
Cough syrup, that's the codeine.
Oh, that's the codeine.
Yeah, that's the codeine.
There you go. Well, Dr. Boye, we're going to have to leave it here, and I want to thank you very much for sort of pointing that, look, laudable ideas, it seems. Perhaps there are ways that it could be efficiently, deployed. But they themselves, NDLEA, hasn't actually told us about the deployment, just the intention. Yeah. So no doubt we'll hear more.
But they should spend more time on prevention.
Okay. I hear you. Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Madelibo, your public health expert. And so that's our program. Please join us tomorrow. We thank, the professor who came on earlier from Professor Samuel Ezeania Anyika. And we're sorry that we couldn't get hold of our friend Innocent Egwim. But tomorrow is another day. We're still in an emergency. Dr. Boyo here will tell us that we're still in an emergency. You've got to keep on washing your hands, masking up, and distancing yourself appropriately. I'm Yori Folari.
Avoiding large crowds.
And avoiding large crowds. So that's our program today. See you tomorrow. I'm Yori Folari. Bye-bye for now.